You there?
Yeah, I'm here. I
We,
guess did it ask you to accept the recording or something?
no, it just locked up. You froze. No audio, no video.
It happened after I started recording, and I'm wondering if I figured it would come up with an alert for you. Anyway, it's happening now.
I got my mic in my shot like you do. Is this okay?
Okay, that's great.
All right, great.
93.7, the Super Q, Ohio Superstation. I'm Curtis Newland, and with me I have Ron Allen. He is Mr. Big Voice Productions. Ron, great to see you again. It's been a long time. How are you?
Well, I'm good, Curtis, and I know people tell you got one of those radio voices there, guy. Hey, I like it.
Yeah, I was, walking down the street one day, and somebody handed it out, and I took it, and so we went with it ever since. But this is something I think a lot of people think about doing someday, whether it's being in radio or they would like to use their voice, and yet they probably think I'm not able to do that, or how would I do that? Can you kind of give an idea of, first of all, what you do?
And if they're like me, they can't carry a tune in a bucket, so that's out. Yeah, voice over. It's a term that you and I both know being in the industry, but the average person doesn't know what the term voice over means. For the benefit of this video, we'll call it voice acting. Aha! Acting with your voice. That's right. Just like any other on-camera actor. There's just no camera. We act into these things, the microphones.
And Ron knows all about it. Ron, you've been doing this for a long time. Talk about some of the different areas that you've used your voice.
We call those genres, and there are many. Everybody thinks radio and television are the only things you can use your voice in. Actually, that's a very common misperception. And radio accounts for only 0.7% of total jobs available in the voiceover field. 0.7%, let that sink in for a second. That means the majority of voiceover work is outside of the radio industry. It's called the non-commercial work. And those genres are telephone greetings on hold, audio books, explainer videos, e-learning, both of which have exploded in recent years, and industrial narrations. There are many, many things outside of radio and television one can do with their voice.
And we see more and more of those demonstrated on the internet or on the web. I mean, so many people are doing live streams or video recording streams or that sort of thing, and they're making money. How does that work, Ron? I mean, how can you really make money doing this?
Well, like anything else in life, you have to know how the game is played. And there's a different set of rules depending on the genre that I just mentioned. Audiobooks, you're dealing with an author, a direct author relationship. And there are many, many books to be voiced, more than there are people to voice them, actually. But that author wants to put their words into an audio format, and they find us, and it's all with a connection on the internet. Publishers representing those authors are looking for us too, and they come out and find us on behalf of their authors. Can you narrate a book and tell a story? Many people listen to audiobooks and don't realize those are actual people voicing those books from their home studio. So it's a matter of networking with the right genre and the people that are hiring them. I didn't mention this, but gaming has exploded too ever since people have been home, right? Gaming has exploded. Well, somebody's got to voice those games. Somebody is a voice actor.
Somebody like you. Somebody like me. So if somebody is listening or watching this right now and they're saying, you know what, that sounds really interesting, I would like to do that, but I don't have the voice to do it. Or, you know what, maybe I'll just reach out. What's your guidance to somebody who is having that thought right now? What should they do?
I hear that a lot. People say I don't have the voice, and they're in their mind, they're thinking, oh, you mean a voice like mine, a voice like yours. Not true again. We don't all have the voice of James Earl Jones. We don't need to. Every time you listen to a cartoon, an animation, a game of some kind, that tells you there's a lot of variety of voices that are in demand. And animation has exploded too in the last 10 years. So whatever kind of voice you have, it's a matter of finding where it fits and then exploiting that over and over and over again. with the studios that are hiring and producing these videos in animation and gaming. They need voices. You reach out to them, they contact you. What's not to love about that? And they hire you direct with no agency involved, usually, which is a good thing now because you keep more money in your pocket.
Ron, you have a wonderful ability, and you have practiced this for many, many years. I know you're young. You started when you were 2.
Yep.
But you have been in radio, TV. I mean, you could name the list for the people listening. You have the ability to show people not only how to work their voice, but how to get through those channels. Is that correct?
That is correct. And, experience is a wonderful teacher. Like you said, yes, I've done most everything, but I've learned a lot and failed a lot and learned from those experiences. And then I try not to repeat them. Yes, radio for over 30 years, TV voiceover, almost as long, movies. I haven't done much gaming. I've done some animation. I've done a lot of explainer videos, e-learning projects, audiobooks. So by virtue of the experience I have, I can train somebody so it won't take them as long as it took me to learn all the nuances of the business. Unless you've got about 20 or 30 years to waste on your education. No, you want to get to the industry much faster. And so you train with a coach like me who knows the ins and outs of the game and how it's played. And that includes the acting part, the technical part, recording studio at home, which is far more cost efficient than it was back when I got started because of supply and demand. The cost is way down, way, way, way down. And
my dad used to always say, you can either start where I left off or you can start all over again, talking about those 30 years that you can build on from Ron's experience. And while this sounds like a sales pitch, it kind of is. We want to tell you about Ron and what he can do at Big Voice Productions and talk about somebody who might be interested. How do they start with you? What's the first steps?
Every student I start with is a 90-minute consultation, either online, Zoom or Skype, or in person. This is so we find out if we're compatible. There's no point in going forward if we're not compatible. It's also to get the questions answered. A lot of questions have to be answered. So let's get it all out in 90 minutes. I'll answer all your questions. Then a person can make an intelligent decision of whether to go forward with the training or not. And it's not for everybody. That's fine. But let's find out in a very simple 90-minute one-on-one consultation.
What are you saying are some of the... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
After that, if you decide, yes, this is for me, let's get going, then we set up a training schedule, and it's one-on-one. I don't train classes. You're not a number with me. One-on-one personal attention.
How long does it typically take from somebody, let's say somebody wants to get into gaming or commercials or animation or, they're all a little bit different, obviously, but how long would it take in training with you to get to a point where you could start commercially using your voice?
That's a great question. My entire course, and there's a lot to learn, my entire course takes 32 weeks. That's in a perfect world, and we don't miss a session. It's one session per week, 90 minutes per session. And this, like a college course, is homework to do on your own, which I will critique with the student. But I can actually get somebody started. It's very common that I book a student for an actual TV or radio commercial day one. Day one, no kidding. That's the demand of the TV and radio commercial, because I have clients that need other voices besides mine, and I'm not good for everything. No one is. So the right voice for the right project. That could be the student that comes in today. And of course, I coach them through it all. And it's very romantic, very exciting about being on the radio or on TV with your voice, but it's a business. And we are here to serve the customers who need our voices. And those are typically advertisers in the radio and broadcast world. So, but yeah, somebody started right away with some actual on-the-job training.
That's incredible. So, what kind of money can be made by somebody who wants to get into this? Whether, let's say it's part-time or it's full-time, to see if it's worth their while.
Great question. Yeah, you get out of everything what you put into it. So if you only want a part-time income, that's completely doable. If you want to make a full-time career out of this, and I hope you're sitting down, six-figure income is potential. No
Now
joke.
you got some ears perked up out there. That's for sure.
I'm not kidding about that. Now, the old joke, go ahead.
And we should mention too, and you said it a little bit earlier, is that you might think you don't have a good voice, and other people maybe in the past even made fun of you to say that you have an awkward voice or whatever. That could pay off big in this business.
Have you ever heard of a guy named Gilbert Gottfried?
Yes.
Would you say he has a wonderfully melodious, soothing voice to listen to all day long?
Probably not.
No, but he was the voice of the Aflac duck. And we all know what that sounds like, an animated voice. He had a perfect voice for that duck. We've all heard talking dog commercials, talking cat commercials on TV and radio. They need a unique voice that fits the emotion of the character. I was once the voice of Caesar the Scissors for Staples. Talking scissors. Whatever they come up with, whatever they get, okay, I can do that. And I put a little bit of personality on it. It's years ago I did it. Can't even remember what it sounded like. But that's what I'm saying. The demand is at the moment. What is the voice of the pig? How many cartoons have you seen? There's a pig and a dog and a lion and an elephant. They all need different voices.
And the opportunities are only growing. There's no question about that. Ron, for somebody that wants to get started with you and have that consultation, how do they best reach you?
Okay, I've got a website, which of course it's a generic kind of a website. It's bigvoiceproductions.com. That's bigvoiceproductions.com. Big Voice Productions at Gmail, easy. Big Voice Productions at Gmail, or call me up on my mobile phone, 614-404-0359, and let's talk and have an actual person-to-person conversation.
Well, I'll tell you what, it sounds fantastic. I know you're a great guy, and you're straight with anybody who's interested in this business. You can count on that, and you will get just tons of experience and advice as well as good teaching. Ron, thanks so much for joining us today.
Hey, thank you for having me, Curtis, to give me an opportunity to tell people what it's all about. The whole world of voiceover. It's there for you.
Ron Allen, Big Voice Productions, here on the Super Q, WQIO.